give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me. I give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me.
So a few months ago, a dear friend of our congregation who's been on this bima many times, Bishop Kenneth Ulmer, retired from Faithful Central Bible Church. And I was there with Jacqueline at this incredible celebration. It was beautiful. It was also 5 hours long. I just want you to know that our service tonight will be shorter, but it was amazing. And there was incredible preaching, incredible teaching, and extraordinary music. And there was a song that night that is not the one we just heard, but it connects to the story I'm telling, called Nobody Like You, God. And it's a song that we might try to find a way to bring to the congregation at some point. But it just was so amazing. And I started listening to that song on Apple Music. And you know how these phones work. They learn your tastes, and then they create like a special playlist for you based on that song that I'd listened to so many times. And so I found myself on my sabbatical walking in Manhattan. And I was listening to music, and suddenly I was in a gospel playlist. I was really enjoying it. It did take me a moment to try to figure out, like, what is actually happening? Because the word Jesus kept coming again and again and again. But that's okay. Then it came together, and I heard that setting that Cantor Emma just sang. And at first, it was actually really kind of hard. It was like, I give myself away so you can use me. And it just felt very foreign for a moment. It didn't feel deeply Jewish. And then I started to think more and more about it. And I thought about, well, what would it mean to see yourself as being useful to God? And I thought about what our tradition calls clergy. We're called klei, kodesh. We're called instruments that are set apart for holiness. And actually, we're all supposed to be those instruments. In our school, when our students get up and lead services, we call them klei kodesh. They are tools to be used by God to make the world a better place. Now, I want to acknowledge that the challenge I felt at first might be one that you feel as well, but perhaps for different reasons. Maybe you struggle with a sense of God as a commander who's telling you what to do. But however you conceive of God, and however uncomfortable you might at first feel about this notion of being used by God, I want to invite you to open yourself up to that idea, because it really is deeply Jewish, and it relates to part of what we're celebrating tonight as well, which is our leadership, our board of directors, all of the people who contribute so much to our community of their time and of their talent and of their treasure, making it possible for our synagogue and schools to thrive. They give so much.
Try it with me. I give myself away. That's it. I give myself away so you can use me. I give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me.
Now, there's a text from the book of Deuteronomy that many of us know by heart. It's from chapter 6 of Deuteronomy, Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. It's chanted so often in our services. Our B'nai Mitzvah learn that text. And in some ways, it's a really easy text. It says, you shall love the eternal your God with all of your heart and soul and being. And what makes it easy is it's about love. And who doesn't like love? But there's another text in Deuteronomy, a few chapters later, Deuteronomy 10, that says that it's not just about loving God, but it teaches us that we are supposed to serve God, la'avod et Adonai, with our hearts and our souls and our mights. It's almost the same language. And so it teaches us that divine service is something that is so much a part of our tradition. And that's part of what helped this text feel more and more Jewish to me, because I realized that seeing yourself as an instrument to God someone who could be useful to God, someone who could be God's partner, but also God's servant in making the world a better place, that this too is a commandment of our tradition.
Here I am, here I stand. God, my life is in your hand. God, I'm longing to see your desires revealed in me. I give myself away.
From our Passover Seders that a lot of us know very well. Another one of those texts that we might even know by heart because it's a song that we sing, and it's in the Haggadah, Avadim Hayinu Hayinu. We sing, we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, Ata b'nei chorin, but now we're free. And so that word Avadim, which is the plural and the singular, Eved, is a word that a lot of us know very well. We were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. But what we might not realize is that our tradition uses that exact same word to describe how we're supposed to relate to God. We are supposed to be, each of us individually, an Eved Hashem. Literally a slave to God. A slave to God, but not in a way that diminishes us or humiliates us or makes us low, but actually in a way that uplifts us and ennobles us and gives us dignity. That's what it is to serve God with all of our hearts and souls, to see ourselves as Ovdei Hashem, as servants of God. And later in our tradition, in Psalm 100, we're taught that this service is supposed to give us joy and bring joy to the world. Ivdu et Adonai b'simcha, it teaches us. We're supposed to serve God with joy. See ourselves as God's slaves, but in a way that makes us smile and makes us happy because we know that we are being useful to God.
With my heart, I will live. With all I have to give, every moment, every day, I will serve you in every way. I give myself away. I give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me.
It's not just a message that we can find in the book of Deuteronomy. It's not just a message that we can find in that psalm. It's a message that is deeply embedded in later Jewish thought and Jewish mysticism. There's this concept of bitul hayesh, where we're supposed to stop thinking so much about ourselves so we can think about others. Stop putting our own ego needs in front of everybody else so that we can get out of our own way and be useful to God. But it's also a text that we know well, and many of us, again, a text we might even know by heart from our Adon Olam prayer that we so often use to conclude our services here at Stephen White's Temple and in synagogues all around the world. That last verse, we say, Biyado. Metaphorically, God, we are putting our spirit in your hand. You are holding us, and we will serve you. And if we can live our lives that way and understand that we are trying to be useful to God, then Adon Olam suggests that we have nothing to fear. We have nothing to fear, nothing nothing to fear at all, because no matter what happens, we know that we will have been doing the right thing for the right reasons, for the right purpose. We are in God's hands, and we are imagining ourselves, as it were, as a tool in God's hand. And I want you to, for a moment, to think just a little bit about what you're good at, what you're passionate about, and how you could be an instrument for God. It might be with your voice. It might be with the talent you have to read a budget. It might be the way you can think about a difficult personnel issue, how you could make that better. It might be how you could bring someone whose soul needs a little tender, loving care and bring them with you into community. In all of these ways, we are in God's hands as instruments for the Holy One.
בידו אפקיר רוחי בעיר אישן בעירה בידו אפקיר רוחי בעיר אישן בעירה
I give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me. I give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me. I give myself away. I give myself away. Myself away.